Oh my gosh. Where do I start? You know what? I'm just going to start with day one. Day one, my professor has just been disrespectful. Okay, so we all had to introduce ourselves. I talked about my name and like ourselves and our reasons for being in Spanish class. I say that, hey, my name is Crazy Music Girl. I'm not gonna give you guys my name. My name is Crazy Music Girl, and I'm here because I think it would be great for me to transfer to a different, a university. That's why I'm taking it. But I didn't go into all the details, but I said that I'm taking this class because, well, I want to know Spanish. It'll be really good in the community right now. It'd be really, yeah, it would just help me. And I say that, although I'm going to move after. And he's like, oh, if you're going to move, well, then you don't need Spanish. And he goes into a long speech scoffing me for taking Spanish class, even though he think that I wouldn't need it in the future. And it's like, despite it doesn't matter what class I'm going to take. It doesn't matter, where I'm going to go in the class I'm going to take, what job I'm going to get. It's like Spanish is good to know, period. I get told, like, almost everywhere that people who speak Spanish are pretty much taking over the country. And it would be nice for me to know how to speak a different language. But he went into a whole entire conversation, like, not conversation, but speech, because no one was able to answer him because he got an attitude with me when I want to say something. Like, he's like, okay, so that's day one. After that, like a little bit down the semester, what I noticed is that he started calling on me repeatedly all the time, like 6 times a day, almost every class. And you have no idea how embarrassing it is to be called so many times and get question after question after question wrong. Let's get this, like, I am not a bad student, but I suffer from anxiety. For most of the semester, until now, until like a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't a student. I wasn't a student. And it's not because of me, being called on. It's because, like, I tried so hard in all my classes. All my previous classes, I made an A. And that's the reason why. And then I go to him when I need help on this test, which was very, very hard, before class, office hours. And he says, he doesn't, well, first off, he doesn't even want to talk to me. He doesn't want to talk to me at all, and he says that. And I ask him, hey, how's my participation grade? Because we have, a grade in participation, or at least I thought we did. I'll get to that later on. And he said, well, you didn't do so well. I said, what? Why? He said, well, because you were rude. Rude how? Like, when in class, I just got called on so much. This is like 3 months in. 3 months out of 4 months, because we have 4 months per semester. And I told him, hey, could you please stop calling on me so much until I actually get, what I'm supposed to do? Because getting called on was humiliating, getting so many questions wrong. And he says that, oh, I just want you to learn. And I say, but, when you ask me these questions, I get them wrong. They throw me off and they don't make me feel good. They make me feel really bad. Like, I just get, and it makes my anxiety goes up. Like, you can see it. It's not like I'm not good at hiding things, by the way. If my anxiety is up, like, you can see it easily. And he goes, I don't know. He says, he acknowledged, oh, I know I've been calling you more than everybody else in the class, or something like that, or whatever. And then he sits down in front of me. We're at the table inside the computer lab. He sits down in front of me. He says, crosses his arms. Oh, do you do any other professors like this? He is dead serious. Do you do any other professors like this? Don't lie. That's what he said me. That's what he said to me. And I looked at I honestly don't understand what's his problem. I looked at him and said like I don't even remember what I said. I said that well no, but like other professors I remember. Other professors don't care. Like but you've been calling on me like you called me over 50 times this semester and it's not even done when you're saying that my participation grade isn't an A isn't good. And he later on he goes on to tell me that he removed the participation grade and we don't even have it anymore. Yeah, but still it scared me how he wanted to mess with my grade because he feels that I was being rude. It's like despite what he personally thinks, it's like you cannot take a person's grade away. You cannot lower them because you think that they're behaving a certain way that you don't like. Different people comes with different personalities. You don't know why they're acting that way. Maybe they're having a tough time at home. Maybe they're like me and they have like anxiety. Maybe because of, childhood traumas or just too much stress working their job. Maybe because of something like that. And he just took it as like me hating on him. I'm just, to be honest, I was flabbergasted. And he's like, I took the percentage that we use for the participation grade and I put it towards all your tests and the final. I didn't, and after he told me that he wanted to mess with my grade, that made me paranoid. That really did. And so I go and I look at my grades to see if it's changed, and it did not. None of those grades changed. He said that it would go towards all my tests. None of them changed. There's no percentage change at all. I keep saying that like, and I got upset, and I go to him, and I'm like, the next class, and I say that, hey, did you put in a change already to make sure that he did it, to make sure that it was done already? And he says, yeah, I can do that. I'm the professor. In front of like two other classmates, and then he goes back and then he looks at it and he smiles like, yeah, and it's like, but I don't understand like what his problem is. I wish that and I go to him after class and I say that I don't appreciate you being rude to me, and I finally say something. I finally go to him and say something about his treatment towards me, and he just defends himself the whole entire time. He goes to the computer and he starts like using the computer like as I'm talking to him. And he goes, "Oh, I'm older than you. I know all that. I'm older than you. I know how to handle this." And that's what he says to me. He says something else. I don't remember, but what he didn't say anything about stopping his bad attitude towards me. And in his class, did I tell you already? He was making rude faces at me. Like I would just do something like this. I remember just doing this. Yeah, like did you like? I remember doing that in class after a student asked a question about, hey, how do you say this in English? And I did that because I told my dad the same thing. I told my dad that, it's weird if you pronounce this sentence in English. It's just weird. Like, I don't really know how to, the only way to how to say it is if you, just look at it and just put it in English. That's the only way how you do it. And so what my professor did is that he looked at me like, I'm dead serious. That's the way he looked at me. Like, I go and I ask him for like for extra credit. He goes, "Oh, do you even need it?" And other students were sitting right there, and they asked him the same thing. Hey, what can we have extra credit? He's like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. I'll go and do this. I go and do that." And after being like, and I had a question to ask, and I got cut off 3 times. One by him, one by the girl, and one by the other girl. Yep. And oh, I should say that the other girls. One girl looks like she's biracial, and the other girl is white. He's nicest. He is the absolute nicest to the white girl. And he answers their questions, and so like I got a little bit upset after being cut off like 3 times. And I say, although I didn't show it, I say and I ask, when is it due? And he goes and he's like, uh his arms are out like it's due before the class is over with. And I'm like, I don't understand. It's due at the end of the semester. This is like months in. This is like recent. It's due before, and I don't understand like why he was getting such attitude with me. And I sent him an email. I'm like, what did you say? I told you, like, I have anxiety. And so, like, when a person, like, when something like that happens, it gets hard for me to actually pay attention to what a person is saying. And so I sent an email. I'm like, what did you say? I couldn't, I couldn't pay attention because I was actually upset. And he surprises me. He sends me back. He surprises me with an outline of, like, what we're supposed to do for the presentation, the extra credit. He surprises me with that. It really did. And then next class, I showed them the presentation papers. It consists of about 10 papers, and page after page after page she didn't like. I didn't do it right. Oh, that's bad. No, that's bad. And that's fine because I didn't do it right. But he came across one paper and he said that I liked it. And then he was like, no, it's not good. I don't like it. And I'm like, but why did you tell me that you don't like it if you just said it was good? Why did you? I didn't say it like this tone. Like, I just asked a question, like, why? Why? And he goes, I'm just trying to help you. You're upset. I know. I know. This guy, when I came home, I realized that he was talking about the next page over, but it's like he flipped back. Like, he honestly, like, he's confused sometimes, and I don't know, but it's confusing. But he was talking about the next page, or no, he was talking about the previous page, not the next page, because he was flipping back and forth. He was talking about the previous page that he didn't like, and he confused me. And then when I got confused, instead of responding to me maturely and getting out what he has to say about my presentation, he responded to me with anger and used the word upset that I sent him through the email on me. And that's just, he doesn't talk to anybody else. It really did. I just, like, he's just been rude to me this whole entire semester. I've been like his most hated student, his most loved student is a white girl. I guess, and I'm not gonna say it's because of race. I don't know if it's because of race. Maybe because she comes to them and she smiles at them and all that stuff. But all I know is that he was never rude to her in the beginning. So maybe she has a reason to smile. Oh, let me. I need to say something. He was very passive aggressive to me, like, calling on me like this whole entire time nonstop, and plus coming up to me and smiling and waving like I don't. That's passive aggressiveness. I know you guys are gonna be like, oh no, he smiled and waved, but like you have no idea. You have no idea. And I go and I talk to him after class and I say that I don't like the way you've been treating me like this. He said, oh, I'm grown. And then he said something about, oh, look at your email. Look at the email you sent me. You don't put hello, professor, or goodbye, professor, or have a nice evening, professor, or something like. I honestly don't understand, like, what is his deal. Do I look like some girl that bullied him in high school or in college? Do I look like some girl like that? Because, like, he's just been very disrespectful, and I come to him with my concerns, and then he just like brushed me off like nothing. And then he just goes, he sits at his computer, and then like as I go like, well, yeah, you were being rude this whole entire time, and he's like, wow, wow, wow. As he was looking at the computer, I'm like, what is this guy's problem? I honestly don't know. And the craziest, like, it's just crazy. Honestly, I don't know. Okay, I'm just trying to, right now, I have a B in this class. And before this, I had an A, like, the whole entire semester, but now I have a B. And with this extra credit assignment, I'm going to, I would I would be comfortably in the A's, but I don't know. I need to really study for the final, and I need a tutor. And you know what? I'm just gonna go and talk to my counselor as a student suggests I do, and see what happens. Okay, keep you guys posted.